of the things about especially for athletes that I love is the phrase Sportlight. When I was growing up, I didn't really think of myself as being somebody who could have an impact on somebody else. The first time I actually learned this lesson was when I was 15. I was a sophomore in high school. And a few of our friends, we decided we were going to go to be junior jazz referees. And so part of learning how to be a referee is we had to go to a clinic. But we had to go to this clinic initially to learn kind of the process, the different procedures of being a referee, the placement, all kind of the technical things of how this works. And so when we were at this clinic, you know, it was just a couple of hours. I know there were some adults there where there were a lot of kids who were learning to do these skills. And I didn't think anything of it. It was kind of check the box, and now all of a sudden we can be referees, we can make some money, we're excited. After practices on Saturdays, we can go ref junior jazz games. Well, about a month or so went by, and my family had noticed that there was this guy that was coming to our games. He was physically disabled, he was in a wheelchair, but he kept showing up to some of the high school games. So at one point, my dad went and talked to him, got his name, learned a little bit about him, and ironically, he had been at that junior jazz clinic. And he had said he had basically was impressed by some of the athletes who played at my particular school. He had mentioned me just as far as how I had treated him. I don't recall anything about it. To me, it was just another day. I was a pretty shy kid, so I can't think I had too much of a conversation. But I remember thinking, wow, I had no idea that I could have an impact on somebody quite like that they would want to come see our high school games for our team. So as kind of the season went on, I would see him come up to the game, and some of us would go up, we'd say hello, we'd talk to him a little bit. But again, we're high school kids, we didn't really think anything of it at that time. Well, as we learned more about it, he actually lived about an hour away. And for him to come to those games, it took a lot of effort on his part. He had to, you know, get a ride, he had to find somebody to bring him because he couldn't actually get himself to the game. And so as we learned more about him, we definitely wanted to make sure that we reached out, that we made him feel like he was a part of who we were, and that we were grateful for what he was doing for us. Not just what we were doing for him and him coming to the games and seeing basketball, but we were very grateful for who he was and how nice he was to us as well. And so the lesson I learned through that at such an early age was there's just so many people that we can impact. And in this world where we hear a lot about influence and being influencers or having influence, that we, not just as athletes, but we as every individual, we have the ability to have impact on somebody. And to have that impact is to actually be able to reach out and to change somebody's life for the better. And how we treat people, how we interact with them is something that they can take with them, is something we can also take with us because it impacts our lives as well. But to reach out and to be able to have a positive impact on those around us is the biggest and the most important thing that we can do in our lives.